Experiencing the mission is contagious. Nowhere is there a better example than in the region of Lanham-Bowie, Maryland, where a surge of evangelistic activity birthed out of a group Bible study is quickly becoming God's special instrument to evangelize the greater portion of Prince George's County.
A group of people got together in faith and prayed, then coupled their faith with works, and then at that point simply watched what God would do.
This latest addition to the Potomac Conference has experienced the rich blessings that occur when a group of enthusiastic members step out on faith. This church plant of the Community Praise Center in Alexandria, Virginia, was the dream of youth pastor Melvin Hayden III. Called the Lanham-Bowie Project, it started as a small group Bible study meeting in the home of a local doctor.
Over a 3 to 4 year period, we had Bible studies on Friday nights. There was a group of about 20 of us. We would move from house to house, and we would study preparation for the final crisis. We studied amazing facts. We studied the sanctuary.
We got to a stage where we were worshiping out of a high school, and we needed to scale back and kind of regroup. And we all knew that we did not want to see this movement die, and that's how I like to refer to this project as a movement, because that's what we're part of, working and staying mobilized for God's work. So I started formalizing a schedule, and that really was the tie-in. We need a little more structure to tighten up, and we just didn't want to see this movement die.
We stuck with it. Pastor Mitchell and Pastor Sanique were really the glue that held the group together for those 3 years until we were able to have our first Sabbath in the church.
The Bowie Project had gotten to a point where it was very clear we needed a full-time pastoral leader. And Pastor Melvin Hayden and Pastor Wright got together. And unbeknownst one to the other, they both arrived at one name unanimously, and that was Pastor Paul Graham.
Well, I'd met Paul and knew of his ministry, knew of his zeal for the work, zeal for young people. He and I had a conversation in the past, and so we had a connection. I knew his brother Patrick, and brought Paul in last fall, and I think after the first conversation, I just knew this was the person.
At the time, Pastor Paul Graham and his family were living in New York City. Excited about the vision of the project, he felt impressed to accept the call by God and relocate to Maryland.
The issue was that there was no money involved, and that's where the faith came in. I was working as a teacher at this point in time, and I said to my wife, "Honey, let's move." And she said, "If you're willing to move, if you feel so strongly about it, I will work and take care of the family while you lead the congregation." And she did it.
The rest is history.
And when he came in, he began to do a lot of the footwork and legwork that really began to put things in focus.
Since November's launch in a rented church building, attendance has regularly topped 400 people per week. The Lanham-Bowie Project owes much of its rapid expansion to the simple zeal that members have for experiencing and sharing the mission. To do so, they're incorporating innovative ideas such as lay-led young adult ministry, using the latest technologies, and even embracing a fresh approach to Sabbath school.
I came here in November for the launch program, and I was praying about it and trying to see if this is someplace God would use me, and I felt impressed, so I signed up, and the next thing I knew, I was leading out with the young adults ministry.
We have Justice League meetings where we plan out and strategize ideas, and so I'm the one who with the technology and coming up with ideas and say, okay, we put things on Facebook, we need to put things on Twitter, we need to blog, we need to get into all of these different things.
And two of the organizations we're involved in is Sycamore Hills Assisted Living, where we go on Sabbaths and we have worship with the residents there. And we also visit Sarah's House, and that's a homeless shelter for families. We go and serve dinner and have worship with them, do children's programs for them on Sunday afternoons.
It's pretty exciting, especially when it comes to Sabbath school. You know, I grew up in the church, and pretty much somebody preaches to you from the desk, or somebody comes with their own itinerary for Sabbath school. But when you sit upstairs in these small groups, you can actually talk about your life, share your life stories and issues, and they're dealt with, and then we get into the lesson.
A great part of my ministry in the past have been what I knew instead of what I did. And what has happened in these 5 months that have passed is that I'm able to take the word that I believe that I always knew and apply it to action with a relationship with Christ.
Indeed, the Lanham-Bowie Project is filling a need in an area where there is no other church of its kind, and its leaders have an exciting vision for what it can become.
There are 3 different conferences in this one area: Potomac Conference, Chesapeake Conference, and Allegheny East. They each have churches around Bowie. Nobody has a church in Bowie.
My vision for Lanham-Bowie Project is to see in this community the largest North American, Black American community in terms of finances, in terms of professionalism in this country, to see us now reaching that group with a group of people who match them, the young, up-and-coming, young Black professional.
Moving forward, the church's aim is to train, equip, and mobilize its charter members to establish relationships so as to fulfill the Great Commission. The charge is to get active and stay active in the Lanham-Bowie community.
If we don't meet the needs of the people, then we're not the church that God expects us to be. In essence, if the church was moved out of the community, we want the people to be able to say, we missed the church that was there. If we can't build that, then we have lost vision of what God expects from his people.